Nishi, I want you to release a little slack out of the rope. Make it sag. Okay, right there. That's good. Now, put it out in the middle, Nishi. Yeah, right there. Now let slack go out. You got it? Okay, good. Good. Okay, so that's good. So now what I want Ryan and David and Nishi and John to do is I want you to close your eyes. 100% close your eyes. You can't see anything. You got it? Okay, so now I want you to tell me what happens, what I do to the rope, the four of you. Okay? You ready? Keep your eyes closed. Okay?
Cut it.
Okay, so Ryan, what did I do?
You cut it.
Nishi, what did I do?
Tore it.
What?
You tore it.
You tore it? David, what did I do? Oh, you had to look, right? So you had no ability to tell what happened, right? So now, let me have David's rope right here. Okay. So David, hold that rope, okay? So in a company, you want to create standards, but if you don't hold to the standards, then you let slack in the rope. Then the standards have no effect. You don't know what's going on in your company. But if you create a standard and you sustain it, remember, like I told you the example that the U.S. developed the exercising. They created the standard and they let slack in it. They didn't sustain it, and we have a bunch of fat people in America now. Right? High work injuries and everything else. But in Japan, they have a bunch of thin people, right? And very, very low work injury. So the key here is when you create a standard, you must hold the rope tight. You cannot let any slack in the rope at all. The minute you let slack in the rope, corruption sets in, variation sets in, waste sets in, poor communication sets in. Everything turns to chaos. But if you hold a standard, if you say, this is the way we're going to do something, and we're all going to do it this way, period. With one exception. Just one exception, okay? Most people don't understand why you create a standard and why you hold the rope tight. Does anybody know here why you create a standard and why you hold the rope tight?
You can measure from a standard.
Exactly. It is the basis for improvement. It is not to be little robots. Everybody has to do the same thing. We don't want you to think. It has nothing to do with that at all. This is the basis from which you measure, so you can improve. Ono says, no standard, no improvement. So we create a standard to be able to measure. But if you let slack in it, what's the starting point? Where's the ending point? There's no way to measure anything. So if you create a standard in your company and you go back home, don't do anything unless you're willing to sustain it. 100%. Not 98, 100%. So I'm going to give you an example of not sustaining a standard that I just did, and it's not acceptable. When you got on the bus just now, did we count? Have we counted every other time? We didn't hold the standard. Mommy, son?
1,
2,
3, 4,
5,
6,
7,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15.
Okay. Hold the standard. Hold the rope. And when you screw up, admit you screwed up and admit it in front of everyone. So another thing that happened in Hawks that was really incredible is when I sat on the table and Mommy-san scolded me. Do you remember that? That was being disrespectful. I was being the sloppy American at that moment. I was imposing my culture, my acceptable standards on the Japanese standards. That's totally unacceptable. That was wrong. When you make a mistake as a leader, admit it openly and quickly. Don't try to avoid it. I screwed up. I was being the sloppy American at that moment. I was not being respectful of the Japanese culture and anything else. I should have sat on the stool, and more importantly, I should have asked first before I did it. This is the way you lead a lean transformation. Holding the rope tight, taking responsibility openly and regularly in front of the people who are subordinate to you. Admitting you're wrong often. Okay? There you go.